Hello everyone! Today I wanted to talk about my year at a Japanese fashion school.
Level 2 cornerstone. Hostiles detected.
I did make a video before of when I first got accepted, and I wanted to just talk about pretty much the year at the school and specifically school itself. And where do I start? So I do have a list of my classes because I did forget what classes I had. So with the name of the school, I don't want to say the name of the school I went to because Japanese companies like to sue if you don't say anything that's like 100% nice. And I do still have connections and opportunities in Japan, and I don't want to ruin them. So I'm not really going to talk about the school. Maybe I'll give a hint, but yeah, I don't feel comfortable saying the name, so I will cover up anything with the name of the school on it. I wanted to start off by saying that if you're looking for help getting into a school in Japan, personally, I feel like I can't help you. How I got in was I did lots and lots of research, and I looked up things according to what I needed. So I looked up what I needed from a school or what I needed to do from that specific school, and that's how I found it. And that's how I made my game plan of first going to a Japanese language school and then going to the fashion school. So, oh goodness, please don't unravel. If this thing starts unraveling, please don't judge me. I spent hours trying to fix this and it's a hot mess, but it's okay. It's whatever. And so I'm looking at a list of my classes right now, and just so I can remember what my classes were, because I did forget. We had 2 terms, and the first term we had one set of classes. In the second term we had slightly different classes depending on the length of each class. So we had creation, we had design, pattern making, coloring, material, and fashion sheet, which is fashion history. We had our final project. So our final was a class in itself. It was a class on its own. Oh my goodness. Hopefully I covered that up. the name was showing. And then also some elective classes that I thought were dumb. So so this is just pretty much, wait, let me cover it. So this is just pretty much the list. This is my, so this right here is my overall percentage. My overall attendance percentage, which was 93.5%. But this is the amount of absences I had. Absences that I had. I said I had 18, and then this is like how many times I was either late or I left early, which is 3 times. But on the bottom here it says like every time you're late, like when you're late 3 times, it counts as an absence. So I was late almost every day to school. Horrible, but still my attendance was 93.5%. And the school was really big on turning in your assignments and coming to school. So in order to pass a class, you have to have 80% attendance and 80% assignment. You have to turn in 80% of your assignments. All of these classes I didn't really like and I didn't feel the need to take, but they were required in order for me to, get through the program. So for example, I'm not that big into design, but I know the importance of drawing, being able to translate what's in your mind onto paper, but I hated that class so much. So I wanted to start off by just telling you why I decided to move to Japan and study fashion and why I went the route that I went. And it started off with Google. I first started off by typing Japanese fashion schools, and I kept finding different fashion schools, and of course at the top of the list of course is Bunka Fashion Institute. I would say I should have chose Bunka. I didn't go to Bunka, should have chose it, but I was like, in the moment, I was very afraid, because when I decided I wanted to study fashion, my first thought, the first thing in my mind was, oh, I really don't look the part, so I shouldn't be trying to go to one of these really cool, really nice schools because I don't look it. And I'm so glad that when I moved to Japan, my view and my perceptions of myself changed drastically, because number one, I needed it. I was moving to a country with a completely different beauty standard. And then also, it was just, I wouldn't have had the confidence to apply if it weren't for I'm just really grateful I changed so much. After Googling and looking up schools, I decided that Osaka would be way cheaper than Tokyo, and also Tokyo is too crowded for me. I had been to Tokyo 2 times before moving to mainland Japan, and so I was just like, no Tokyo, no. I'm really glad I chose Osaka. I had no idea, I didn't even know Osaka was a place until I started finding schools in Osaka. Upon doing a lot of Google searches, looking up schools, looking up their requirements, thankfully a lot of schools in Japan, even if the school is completely in Japanese, they'll have English pages for you to read that'll give you just a list of directions and steps you can take. And I saw the easiest way for me to get to a Japanese school was to take Japanese language school. Now, Japanese language schools aren't exactly real schools, depending on who you talk to, or even by the Japanese government standards, because the year that I was going to graduate from said Japanese language school, we got a notice saying that our degrees, that degree right there, doesn't count as going to any other school for 2 years. It used to be that you could get that degree and you could work in Japan, and that was my original plan. So my plan was to go to Japanese language school, work for a year, and then start fashion school so that I had money. But then, of course, the last year of school, I got that degree, and the Japanese government was like, oh no, we're cutting that program, you can't do that anymore. It used to be that you could get a work visa and work in Japan for pretty much however long, but you had to be sponsored by a company, you couldn't self-sponsor. All of that pretty much just threw a wrench in my plans, but I was just like, I want to go to fashion school, so I'm going to apply into fashion school, and thus started the snowball effect of horrible. It was just, it ended horribly. It started off great, and I love my determination and my willingness to put myself out there, but things could have happened a lot better. But upon learning that I could no longer work after going to school, I decided that I needed to find another school to go to. And thankfully, throughout the 2 years of Japanese language school, I was visiting fashion schools all throughout Osaka. But there was this one school, the staff was so nice. They were very helpful. At the time, I thought they were very helpful. And I had my mind set on going to that school. Now, there is a Bunka campus in Osaka. I didn't go to Bunka, so I can say that. But unfortunately, I didn't choose that one because it was a 50-minute train ride away. And now that I'm looking back, I'm just thinking, maybe I should have tried. It was mostly because I heard, such nice things about it from the students that went to Bunko Osaka. And for some reason, I still wanted to choose the school that was closer and also more expensive. And it was because when I did the walkthrough of that school, I felt at home. They took me from floor to floor to see different things, and I kept imagining myself there. And I felt that this was meant to be, and so I chose that school. So I talked about this before. There were a few things that the staff said I could do that I couldn't. Also, some classmates that are also foreigners, they were told the same thing. And I didn't say, but the school didn't allow foreign students to apply for scholarships their first year. Which, when I chose to go to that school, it kind of also threw a wrench in pretty much the plans I made after that. And that was my bad. I should have maybe asked them to specify, is there a difference between foreigners or Japanese students? And I didn't. So that was my bad. And the reason why I believe that I could apply for scholarships is because, one, I've never heard of that rule before. I have friends where they didn't even apply for the scholarships. Their school applied on their behalf and they received the JASL scholarship, which is just a monthly stipend. And it's usually between $300 and $500, like equivalent almost. And I was hoping that I could get that, but yes, the school didn't exactly inform me that as a foreign student, I could not apply for scholarships. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, so why didn't you look for outside scholarships? I did. A lot of the scholarships, they require a recommendation from the school itself, but the school wasn't giving recommendations to foreign students either. And so there was nothing I could do. So now I'm gonna get back on subject, and I want to talk about pretty much my classes. And one thing I was really happy about with the school was that you could be someone that already had experience, or you could be a beginner, and they would try to help you. The teachers, for the most part, the ones that weren't like mean girlish, the teachers were very helpful. My head teacher, she was just the nicest human being ever, even though I think I annoyed her sometimes. I think she thought I was dumb. I mean, I'm airheaded, so it happens sometimes. I come off as dumb. And so this one was for design. And so I wasn't very good at drawing. I still don't think I'm good at drawing. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of painting and all of that stuff, but because I'm studying fashion technology, I never thought that design was important. And fashion technology is more of the technical side of fashion, like textiles and sewing itself, and different procedures for sewing, different methods of sewing. And so I was like, ew, design, I don't want to draw pictures, I hate this. But as the year kept going, I started to get better and I loved it. No, I didn't love it. I loved that I got better. I did not love the class.